Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Aisswarya Vasu and we do fun content here every week. Today's content is going to be a little bit different from what we usually do. It's going to be academically related and today we will be discussing why America would lose a trade war with China. And I think this is a really interesting read because it is currently ongoing right now. And since America and China are huge market tycoons, whichever way this situation sways towards, its effect, I think, will be felt nationwide. So I think it is not only interesting to discuss about, but it's also important for us to address this because then we could understand why a trade war would happen. And if it happens, so what are the effects that would be felt by both countries and why America would be losing the trade war, essentially. Right, so we actually have a text here by Professor Winter Nie. I will be copying and pasting the text by her. Actually, we only have like an excerpt of the entire text by Professor Nie. So I will be copying that and pasting it on the description box. So please do have a read at that before going on with this video. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, right? So Professor Winter Nie, she actually wrote on this topic, and we will be critically analyzing her stance and arguments. What we're going to do is, first, we're going to read through the text. Yeah, that's the obvious, isn't it? We're going to read through the text, and then we're going to identify what is Professor Nie's main idea or her argument in the excerpt. Moving on from that, we are going to gather two evidences or supporting detail that Professor Nie has provided us in her excerpt that further solidifies the argument that she's having in the excerpt. So, and then I will be analyzing whether the supporting detail or the arguments that is given by Professor Nie is relevant or and is if it's of good quality. And then I will be presenting my own beliefs, values, and status regarding the topic in hand. And finally, to wrap it all up, I will be stating whether I am opposing or supporting Professor Nie's stance. Right, so before we dive into the text, I think it is important and good for me to shine some light onto the author of this excerpt and named Professor Winter Nie. Now, she's a professor of operations and service management in IMD, and she actually has a really good profile, a very impressive biodata, if I may, and she's actually won several teaching and research awards. And she holds a PhD in operations management from the University of Utah in USA. I will also be linking her down on the description box. So if you're interested to know more about Professor Winter Nie, you can check her out online. And it's pretty easy to find her. She's a very famous person. There's loads of pictures on her online, and her achievements are pretty impressive too. Right, so here onwards, I think we will be addressing Professor Nie as the author. And the first part of our critical analyzation would be stating the issue in the text. So the author here discusses the acute effect that would be experienced by the US economy and its citizens if President Trump were to initiate a trade war with China. And according to the author, the US will most definitely get the short end of the stick because local companies like Walmart, who import billions of dollars worth of cheap goods from China, will have to rake up their prices to keep their business running. The effect will most definitely be first felt by the middle and lower class citizens whose lives and beings depend on purchasing items from Walmart. Now, keeping in mind, these are the same classes of citizens who majorly voted for Trump to be president in the first place. So, the next appropriate question would be, why would Walmart need to increase their prices? Because of a trade war, right? A common sense answer would be because manufacturing prices are now up since China's not sending their products in, right? But we can argue that it's not only the manufacturing cost that plays a big role, but also the tariffs. So, what are tariffs? Tariffs can be a jargon to some people, right? Tariffs are taxes imposed by governments on imported and exported goods. It is a regulated operation that is done in all countries, and it is actually a source of income for the country, and also it helps to regulate foreign trade policies that safeguard the country's domestic industry. So, to make more sense, tariffs are typically a percentage that is marked onto prices out of the total cost of the item's production. And these percentages, they differ based on the items and the industry of origin. Now, if a government is trying to develop, let's say, their agricultural business in the country, so if they're trying to improve agricultural business in their domestic sector, then the tariff imposed on imported goods that are related to agriculture would be much higher. So this will just promote their domestic business better than imported business. So in simple words, tariffs help the government to earn an income and promote domestic businesses. A trade war between two economic giant countries like this can disrupt a delicate balance and understanding, resulting in unregulated imposition of tariff values. So the author and many leading economy experts hope that the trade war does not happen. Now, what is the argument that is given by the author? With critical analyzation, we can see that the author has presented us with a main argument, and it is seen actually on the first paragraph, the first line, which is, if Trump were to start a trade war, the most immediate effects would be probably felt by companies like Walmart, which import billions of dollars of cheap goods that are bought mostly by people who voted Trump into the office. And the evidences that are presented by the author are, in paragraph 1, line 3, the prices on almost all these items would quickly skyrocket beyond the reach of the lower economic brackets, not because of manufacturing cost, but because of tariffs. And the second evidence is also in paragraph 1, but in line 5, the result would be an economic war of attrition that China is indefinitely better positioned to win. Now let's look a little bit deeper into the evidences and see its relevancy and quality. The first evidence states that the US should not start a trade war with China because the market prices for cheap imported goods would skyrocket because of the tariff rates. This evidence is relevant to the argument. However, since the evidence is the opinion of the author, it is of poor quality. Next, the author states that the US should not start a war with China, a trade war with China, because it is sure that China would win the war. And this evidence is also highly relevant to the argument, but similar to the first evidence, it is the author's opinion, so the evidence is of poor quality. I would like to also state my own beliefs, values, and status regarding the topic in hand, right? My beliefs are that in a business transaction, the upper hand is always for the production body. So in this case, China. And I believe that it's careless and quite outrageous, actually, to start a trade war with the world's biggest manufacturing country in the world. And some of the values that I pertain economy, survival, and balance. And this would make a bit more sense when I state my status. From a middle class person's point of view, I think a trade war with China would be disastrous for US because most middle class and lower class citizens of the US visit stores like Walmart and Target to get their daily needs. It is a vital source for their lifestyle purchases, and the low prices are the biggest reason why companies like these are still in the business right now. So my beliefs, values, and status definitely reinforces the author's view on why US should not start a trade war with China. It is because US will most definitely lose the war. Based on the beliefs, values, and status that I have provided, I agree with the author that America should not go into a trade war with China. And based on that, I also have two arguments of my own, right? Evidences of my own, right? The economy situation is already tough enough for the middle class and lower class citizens. And the government should actually provide aids to help elevate the situation rather than starting a trade war that further deprives them of their wants and needs. And besides, starting a trade war with China would possibly deprive US of goods that are exclusively produced in China, such as soy and microchips and motor vehicles, So in the long run, it would impact the US economy deeply. So that would be my critical analysis of the text by Professor Winter Nie, Why America Should Not Start a Trade War with China. I think we have reached the end of the vlog. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to my discussion. I hope we all got one or two things out of I hope we have learned one or two things out of this, and I hope the trade war does not happen, and if it does, I hope everybody stays safe, and I hope life goes on as well as it should be for everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you next week. Bye.